And we're happy to have her here, and we even learned the theme song to her show. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Miss Griffin. Scooby, Scooby, Doo, where are you? We got some work to do now. Scooby, Scooby, Doo, where are you? We need some help from you now.
Yes! Well, jeepers, this is a lot different from a regular convention because there aren't a bunch of creepy monsters everywhere in costumes. Sometimes I wrestle them to the ground and tear off their mask and it's just a teenager, but so nice to see you guys.
Welcome to the show. All right, great. Well, have fun.
Yes, do I sit?
You can sit. Your questions are going to be coming from the sides there, and kind of alternate and enjoy.
Okay. I'm going to talk about, well, some of you know me as Daphne Blake for the last 20 years on Scooby-Doo, and then of course the Supernatural episode. But when you guys were growing up, I was Emily Elizabeth on Clifford the Big Red Dog. Anybody remember that? Yeah. And Vicky the babysitter on Fairly Odd Parents. and Azula on Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yes. I had a very dumb brother, and I had one bad haircut and it made me go insane, you know. I'm Queen Moon from Star vs. the Forces of Evil. I play her mother, and I also play Jackie on that show. And oh my gosh, all kinds of, Sam on Danny Phantom. Did anybody ever watch Danny Phantom? Yeah. Danny and I would go ghost all the time. It was awesome. So, and I'm right now, I'm Lola on the Loud House and Lana on the Loud House. And I played the baby too. And I play Scoops, that little old lady that's on the scooter. And I play Mrs. Bernardo, the acting teacher. And I play Cheryl, who works in the office. Principal Huggins, we got some crazy kids over here. Anyway, so all right, I guess I just take questions. Or do you guys want to know how I got into the business? Or I don't know. I've never done a Supernatural con before, so I'm just like, I don't know. I did stand-up comedy. If you come to my table, I have a little free card that you can scan, and my comedy special will pop up on it. It's called My First Comedy Special. You can also go to Amazon and watch it for free on there. But yeah, I did stand-up comedy, and I didn't have any jokes. I just did The Wizard of Oz, pretty much. Like, I did impressions and stuff, but I didn't really have any jokes. I'd be like, I want to go home. And I am Uncle Henry, I'm frightened. Are you a good witch or a bad witch? I'm not a witch at all, I'm just a little girl. It's all right. You may all come out and thank, as mayor of Munchkin City, in the county of the land of Oz, I welcome you most legally, but you gotta verify it legally, to see if she is morally, ethically, physically, spiritually, positively, absolutely, undeniably, unreliably dead. As good enough, I vouch for her, I've thoroughly examined her, and she's not only merely dead, but she is quite sincerely dead. Who killed my sister? Was it you? I didn't mean to kill her. I didn't mean to kill anybody. Anyway, so I did a lot. Anyway, oh boy. So I did that, but I didn't have any jokes. So Pauly Shore, do you know who Pauly Shore is? His mom, yeah. So his mom owns the Comedy Store, and she said, "You're so cute, you should, but you need jokes. So why don't you go do cartoons or something? Because you do great voices." And I thought like it was just something you just went and did, like signed up for, but it's like the hardest job ever in the world to get. But I got it somehow, I don't know how. But then I did Rugrats. Did you always watch Rugrats? Yeah, I was Todd McNulty on that show, and he talked a little bit like this. And I also was Reptar the one time he came to life, and he was like, and so I got that, and then I did a bunch of other shows after that, like Fairly Odd Parents and all that stuff. And I have 3 kids. I'm a single mom in Los Angeles, and that's all I can tell you about myself. Yeah, thanks. So who has the first question?
On the extreme ends.
On the extreme? Oh, there you are. Hi. Yeah.
My question is, what is your favorite episode of Scooby Natural to do? Sounds Scooby Natural. Scooby-Doo.
She's got a one-track mind. My favorite Scooby series was Mystery Incorporated. It was just, it was so great. And it was the first time we kind of broke out of our, well, I took over the part 20 years ago. Oh my God. And I was really trying to be very reverential to the woman that did it before me because she was a really good friend of mine, and I felt weird about, she had passed away, so I felt weird about taking over her role, and I just wanted to make sure I was really paying homage to her as much as possible. She was Mary Kay Bergman. I don't know if anybody knows who she is, but she was a legend. She was all the women on South Park. She was the original Timmy on the Fairly Odd Parents in the pilot. She was she did a lot of the little boys parts in The Iron Giant, and she was Snow White for Disney. She was just amazing. Anyway, so she unfortunately took her own life, so it was just like a really terrible time. It was like really just a traumatic time, and they asked me, Gray, can you audition for Daphne? And I was like, no, I can't. I mean, I can't even believe we're having auditions for that right now. It's crazy. It was like a couple weeks after she passed away, but her husband had been staying with me because he was really he was going through a terrible time, and he said, Gray, you have to audition for it. She loved you. She would have wanted you to do it. So I was trying to just be as close to her as I could be for a few years. But then I got a little cozy and a little sassier, and then a lot of my snark started kind of sneaking into Daphne. I don't know if you've noticed over the last 15 years or so, it's just she's gotten a little bit snarkier, especially when girls try to flirt with Freddie, and he decides to split the gang up and go looking for clues with this skank over here. So yeah, Daphne's personality came in, but Mr. Incorporated was like the first time that I think we got really irreverent. Like Velma had a girlfriend, obviously, her name was Hot Dog Water, and Linda Cardellini played her, and you know, and then of course when we did Be Cool Scooby-Doo, Daphne went completely crazy with her like beard and her like puppetry, and just got really, really out there. So, but I think Mr. Incorporated as a series was my favorite one. I don't know if I could pick a favorite episode. I really like the Trap of Love episode. Trap of Love. Did anybody see that with the... Anyway, I got to sing. It was fun. Thank you.
Mine happens to be What's New Scooby-Doo.
You like What's New Scooby-Doo? Good, yeah. Well, what's your favorite episode?
There's too many to count.
Oh, I was gonna like try to give you a good story about it or something. I will say Matt is gonna do a panel at some point, and if Matt Lillard, who plays Shaggy, if he wasn't sitting next to me all the time going, that is my part, because I just have ADD and I just start like getting really into how someone is saying their line or looking at my phone or something, and then I'm like, oh my God, it's my phone. And sometimes when I miss my cue and because he didn't tap my leg, I get mad at him. I'm like, you didn't tap my leg. Anyway, he's like, it's not my job to, anyway. I'm just doing that as a courtesy. Thank you. Okay, now I got this. Okay,
Hi. I was curious, who did you have more fun voicing? Vicky from Fairly Odd Parents or Azula from Airbender?
Oh, gosh. Well, they're both very evil. Vicky's got a chainsaw.
and well, I've been doing that part since I was 26 years old, so it's been like 20 years of doing that too. And honestly, Azula, it was such a well-written show. And I loved, you know, anytime you get to have a mental breakdown, it's wonderful. Especially behind a microphone, because I feel like I'm always on the brink of a mental breakdown, so actually to like fulfill it on mic is always very satisfying. But I honestly didn't remember Azula that much. I mean, it was only like maybe 10 sessions, and I was working all by myself, so later on, I got more into the character after, well, I am a single mother with 3 kids in private school. And so my friend's like, great, do you want to come do this convention with me? People will spend $40 for your autograph. And I was like, I don't think they will. And she's like, they will. And I was like, I don't think so. And she's like, yeah, I'm telling you, I do it every weekend. So she took me to one. I didn't even know what these were. This wasn't Supernatural, but it was just a comic book convention. And this woman came up and said, did you do Azula on Avatar: The Last Airbender? And I was like, I think so. Yeah, I think. And then she was like, okay, hold on. So then she Googled it. She's like, yes, you did. You're Azula. And I was like, okay. So then she went and got all of her friends, and I was so happy. I didn't even have any Azula pictures. Then I got very into the part and started watching it and remembering all the lines. And like, that's a sharp outfit, Chan. Sharp enough to puncture the hull of an Empire-class Fire Nation battleship, leaving thousands to drown at sea because it's so sharp. She was a little crazy. Yeah. Thank you, but Vicky's fun too, because she's
like, big, you can expend a lot of energy, you twerps. Go to bed.
Thank you. I'm gonna go back over here. I'm getting this set. Okay. Yeah.
Hello. Hello, my name's Alyssa.
Hi, Alyssa.
Hi. I just want to first off say thank you for voicing a majority of my childhood. So it's awesome to meet
Thank you for watching.
My question is, what was your reaction to the crossover with Supernatural and hearing about that opportunity?
I had never watched Supernatural, and the crazy thing was, I was doing a convention with Misha Collins, but I didn't know who he was. And he said he was a dad at my kid's school. Like, we would drop our kids off at school together. Honestly, to be honest, I just thought he was the hot dad from the school. And so I was just doing a comic book convention, and I was walking down the thing, and they always have the people sitting there signing with like a big picture of them behind and like what they're from. Because the other conventions, you don't know where everybody's from. It's just like a conglomeration of everybody. This is actually way better. But I was like, oh my God, the hot dad from school. And I was like, well, what is he on? And I was looking at the sign, I was like, oh, Supernatural. Okay, so it's like, okay, but I just had no idea. So when we got the thing, I was like, oh my God, I know the hot dad from that show. He's on. So that's all I knew. But I was then to find out how like it's super popular, Supernatural. So I was very excited about it. And also they had explained to us, like they said, oh, there's just going to be an animated part in a Scooby-Natural episode. I mean, in a Scooby-Doo. I'm sorry. They're doing a Supernatural episode, and it's going to have a very small animated part in it that's just a Scooby part. And so we were like, oh, okay, are they going to lift our lines? And they're like, no, you have to go to a session. And then so we looked at the script and we're like, oh, this isn't a clip of Scooby-Doo in a Supernatural. This is like a Scooby episode. So we were very excited that it was more than we thought it was. So, yeah.
Hi. I'm wondering, what goal in this coming year are you most excited to accomplish?
Oh my goodness. I feel bad that I haven't written down more goals. Oh gosh. Well, I do stand up, and I really want to do a late night spot. That's like a lofty goal, but I'm trying to get my clean material together, because every time I write a funny joke, I'm like, oh, that's not good for late night. Are there children in here?
Doesn't matter.
Well, I just wrote this new joke, and I've been opening with it, and I say, well, I waxed off all my pubes, and now I know why ugly guys have beards. That's like my new opener, and so I was like, that can't be on late nights. Okay, so I'm gonna put that in the other dirty pile. So I have a lot of dirty jokes and I have to just cull out all the clean jokes to get my 5 minutes together for late night. Oh gosh, I was like, I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, but now I can't because my kids are always there. They're always like, Mom, take us, we want to go to Build-A-Bear, take us to Build-A-Bear. I didn't even know what that was. I thought it was like a gay gym or something. I was like, what? Anyway. There's a lot of, we have a pit bull, her name's Babyface. We named her after her favorite snack. Anyway, there's a lot. Thank you so much. Now I go back over here.
Hi.
Hi.
So on Scooby-Doo, you guys catch bad guys, and then on Supernatural, they kill bad guys. So if you were to choose, you personally, would you rather catch the Scooby-Doo kind of bad guys or Supernatural kind of bad guys?
I'm anti-death penalty, so I say the Scooby way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I write a lot about geek culture, and I write a lot about mental health. And so I have spent an ungodly amount of time picking apart Azula's psychology.
Well, you poor thing.
I kind of wanted to know what you thought of maybe her catalyst in her descent from being very cool and collected and in control all the time to what she was by the end.
Well, she was so scary in the beginning because she didn't even have to yell at anyone. She was so scary. All she needed to do was just talk at people like this, and keep very cool and calm. And it was almost more creepy that way. But I think once she felt that she was losing control, she just couldn't handle it anymore. And remember when she was trying to control Chan, the guy that she was flirting with, and he wasn't doing what she wanted? It kind of sends her over the edge when she loses control of things, or like when Ty Lee betrayed her, she felt like a loss of control. And then when she thought they were going to lose that volleyball game, and then finally they won, and she just like celebrated too hard. She was like, yes, we have defeated you for all time. May you never rise from the ashes of your shame and humiliation. And it was just a volleyball game. So, yeah, I think it was just that loss of control. After all, my own mother thought I was a monster. She was right, of course, but it still hurt.
That's an Azula line. For all of you who don't know who Azula is, they're probably like, oh, okay, get past this character. Anyway, thank you. And I go back over here. Is there anybody left? Okay, hi.
Hi. I was wondering what you feel about the different relationships that were in the Scooby Natural episode with Daphne and Dean and Velma and Sam. What your thoughts were when you read it.
Well, I thought Velma was a lesbian after Mystery Incorporated. It's very confusing. Well, I felt very bad for Fred, and since I didn't get the guy in Supernatural, I'm just gonna have to settle for Freddie like I always do. I've been trying to get him to commit to me forever. Yeah, I wanted to write an episode of, I wanted to like move the women's movement forward, and I was like, oh, it's kind of a tired premise of Daphne always being after, Fred. Maybe she's just an independent woman who wants to just have her career as a Ghostbuster and just, do her thing. I wanted there to be an episode where Fred proposes and Daphne turns him down to focus on her career, so. I'm gonna call it Me Too Scooby-Doo. No.
Scooby, Me Too.
That won't go over very well. Hi.
Hi. I waited 30 years to see how 13 Ghosts ends for Scooby-Doo and the 13 Ghosts. Did you like taking control as the leader and being the leader of the team for the 13 Ghosts movie that came out? I loved it. I thought you were great.
Oh, well, jeepers, thank you so much. I remember recording that and being so excited that finally Daphne's not just like this arm piece, that she's like, not just if people watched it in the 70s, they're always like, oh, you're the hot one. And I'm like, she's so much more than that. She's a leader, and she's got a lot of good ideas. Fred's the goofy one now. I remember being really excited about her taking the lead in that way and just thinking how far she's come from being just like the fashion icon, when seriously it's like, she's a fashion icon and I haven't been able to change my dress in 40 years. That's weird. But now it's all back because she's retro now. Now it's like she is really, really fashionable. But no, I was really excited about that, and I was proud of the writers for putting that in, and it's fun to see a character that I've been doing her for almost 22 years actually, to see it grow and develop with the times, So.
Loved it.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I was just wondering, at what age did you realize you had all these different voice personalities, and when did you want to get into the business of doing voiceover?
Oh my gosh, I was ignored a lot as a kid. I was an only child, and I was raised by my grandmother, and she worked all the time, so I was by myself, and I didn't have a ton of toys, and I had a boom box that I would record myself on little cassette tapes and stuff, and that's how I entertained myself, so I think that's probably where all that started. Also, as a teenager, I used my voices to get into a lot of trouble, like calling. Yes, I play Catwoman on all the Arkham City games and, Injustice and all that. And so Catwoman often was calling in sick for Gray. Oh, she's just not feeling well. She's at the doctor's right now. And also, I entertained myself doing prank calls, and I didn't even remember until like maybe 10 years ago. I was like, oh my gosh, I probably ruined so many marriages, because I would pick the phone book out and open it up to like Mr. and Mrs. John Smith or whatever, and then I would call up and go, hi, is John there? Like and the lady would be like, no, who's this? And I was like, oh, this is Cheryl. John's not home, I really miss John. I mean, and then, poor John, he would come home to like a shitstorm. And I didn't even remember, and I just would go down the list in the phone book, probably 30 marriages a day, just ruining it. Anyway, so I was bored. Somebody should have been watching me more closely. But yeah, I think I knew from a young age that I could do voices.
Because I did like little baby voices when I was like, like 11 or 12. I would try to talk like a toddler, like this, and with my friends,
but I just didn't know it would be a job. I didn't know you could really make a living at it. I didn't know it was an actual job you could have. As soon as I found out, I was like, yes, that's great. I can do that. Back over here.
Hi there. My name's Jessie. I'm from Australia.
Hi, Jessie.
I had a question building on that. Like, how much fun do you have with telemarketers, with the range of voices you have?
Well, now I don't even ever talk to telemarketers anymore because my phone says spam risk, or, spam likely, or whatever. I always joke with my friends. I'm like, this spam likely guy has been asking me out for years.
I used to though, like I used to pretend to be a little kid on the phone just to keep them on there for a while. Like, you know, just, I don't know why. It's still mean. Like I was a telemarketer, so later, like when you know, it's a job that you can get if you just have no other options. Like nobody wants to be doing that job. I'm kind of glad for robocalls now because like at least no real person is being subjected to like all that torment. You know, people would just yell at me and hang up on me. I was actually glad when they hung up because I was like, yes, okay, good. I've been at this job another 2 minutes. I only have like 1,000 more minutes to go to be able to pay my rent. But I don't mess with people that much anymore because I just don't answer my phone. I'm like, if you're not texting me, then you're not gonna get a call back. Sometimes I'm like, why are they calling me? Why would they do that? Why wouldn't they just text me? Anyway, I always tell my son, if you're dying or something's wrong, text me, don't call, because you may die if you call.
Hi. Hello. I was just wondering, of all the voices that you've done, especially in like children's cartoons and stuff, which one did you identify with most?
Well, I played a character named Frankie Foster on Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Did you guys ever watch that? Yes. And I, being raised by my grandmother in kind of a kooky house, I really related to her, and she sounds the most like me of anyone. She just talks like this. She's like, Blue, you're driving me crazy. What are you doing? You know, and
I also played Duchess on that show. I don't know if you know that fashion icon Duchess. She was very mean.
And I played, I based her on Donatella Versace. And then,
And I also played Barry on the show. She really liked Blue.
And I played Fluffernutter. And I played,
and I also played Goo, that girl. Kind of talk like this. She was like kind of all over the place. She talked. She was just like kind of a little bit hyper, so she didn't know what she wanted to talk about.
Anyway, so that was a fun show. And that's closest to my personality, was Frankie. And
I also played Mandy on the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Did anybody ever watch that? Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, I had to deal with Billy and Grim all the time. They drove me crazy too. I'm always having to put up with idiots.
And then that was here. Now, yeah. Okay. Hi.
Hello. Hi. First of all, I would like to say you're an inspiration.
Thank you.
So thank you for being here. But my question is, what advice would you give to aspiring voiceover actors as far as like character development and like how to start out and break in?
I used to give people totally different advice. I would tell them like get into theater and stuff, but now I work with influencers all the time. Like I do, like sometimes I'm like, I don't know who this person is. Who is that? And then I'll Google them and I'm like, oh, okay, they have like 2 million followers on YouTube. You know, their voice, they do have a voice channel or, you know. And so I guess my new advice is to start getting a following online, whether it be like Twitch or like TikTok or YouTube, because that's kind of who they're hiring now. And so if you can prove to a bunch of people that you can do a lot of different voices, because the thing is they pay you one fee for up to 3 voices. That's why on Loud House I play all the 3 sisters, because they don't have to pay me any extra for all the 3. But there's some people who
they naturally talk like this, but they're an adult person, and they say, I really want to do voiceovers. Do you think you can help me get into voiceovers? And
they might get one part, they might luck into it, because there are some people who have gotten parts like that, but a lot of times they're going to use somebody who can do the like 14-year-old kid or whatever, like do the brother and then like do the baby and do the old lady and do the mom, and you know, the more versatile you are, the better. So work on accents. Like when I run out of voices, they really wanted a queen voice for Star versus the forces of evil, and I had to make her very British because I'd run out of all my old lady voices, so I just had to make it British. It'll make your voice a little bit different, you know, or I'll add a southern thing on there if I've already used up all my stuff. So yeah, but yeah, and sometimes I create a voice by laughing as the character. If I can't think of how the character, like with Vicky, I was kind of stuck. I didn't want to do a regular teenager, and the picture they showed me was her going, so I was just like, I was like, like her face was like, and I was like, and then I was like,
and then you start doing the voice like that, and then it fits the picture, and then you sound like what they drew, and then they like you a lot.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
So we all love crossovers. What other shows would you want to do a crossover with?
I can't believe we haven't done or have we? I don't know. But I'm always like, why haven't we done a Ghostbusters Scooby-Doo crossover? Like, we're Ghostbusters and they're Ghostbusters, but I don't know, their ghosts are real, but I don't know, I met Ernie Hudson
at a convention in Australia, and I just loved him so much. So I think I just want to work with Ernie Hudson again. He was great. Hello.
Okay. Hi. I was wondering, with Scooby Natural, it's like very animated, similar to Mystery Incorporated. So I was kind of wondering, how old are the characters in that episode? Because Dean was very interested.
Gosh, well, Daphne's ageless. You know, she's too insecure about her looks to ever share her age. I'm 46. But Daphne, there is no age. They're just teenagers. You know, they're just weird teenagers. But she's 18, according for Dean. I am 18, but I am a teenager. So, yeah. It's also they're not in school, so they've got to be 18 to 19. I don't know. They're still teenagers, though.
Hello. Hi. First of all, power to you for being a mom, taking care of all that.
Oh, thank you.
And my question is, I'm a mom too. Is have your kids kind of followed in those steps, or are they also or do they do their own thing?
Oh my gosh, my son, on the Loud House, my son just finished playing Lincoln for 2 years. So we got to go to work together every Friday, and it was awesome. But now he was crying the other day going,
Because he's got like this low voice now, and he's like, every kids at school are like calling me Lincoln.
And I was like, they wish they were Lincoln. I was like, they're just doing that because they're jealous of you. Don't worry about it. He gets bullied a little. He's very different, but it's cool. Like, he's an artist, and he's like, I just want to be like in college where there's like adults and like nice people. He was an only child for a long time because I had him 7 years before I had my other little ones. So he was used to being kind of like with adults all the time. So he's very mature and I was like, kids are dumb. You're gonna have a huge, wonderful life. Like he has big art shows and sells his art and designs clothes. And I was like, this is just a short 4 years in your life. You'll be fine. Just stick it out. So, and my little one, my middle son is super shy. So he's probably not going to go into acting. And my 3-year-old daughter is like very animated and wants to be on stage. We go to a restaurant. She goes up on there's a stage with a microphone. She tries to get up there. So I think she might take after mom. Okay, go back.
Hi, Grace. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure meeting you.
I have a lot of respect for voice actresses. My favorite was June Foray. I don't know if you ever got to meet her.
I played the young granny on the final episodes. She did some Looney Tunes stuff where she played Granny, and then they went back in time. So I got to play her as a 20-some-year-old granny. And I was such a fan of hers that I signed she signed in, and I signed in under her, and I was like, I'm taking a picture of that. That's gonna be taking a picture of. I was dorking out. And then I always loved her on have you been on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland? Well, June Foray plays the lady who's like, don't tell him, Carlos, don't be chicken, out of the windows, And so they had an audition for the new redhead on the ride, Pirate Red, because now she's not being sold into slavery. She's actually like a pirate now. They redesigned it. And I got the part of the Pirate Red. So I'm like, June and I got to be on a ride together, even though she's passed. But I went to her memorial, and everybody talked about her. She used to have this really hot guy drive her around in a limo to all of her sessions. And I'm going to do that when I'm 90. That's my goal for my career.
What was your favorite character of hers that she did?
Oh, gosh. Well, I loved Cindy Lou Who. I loved Rocky from Rocky and Bullwinkle. She was just... I think I liked Talkie Tina from Twilight Zone. That was so creepy. Yeah, she was everything. She's amazing. Yeah, and she lived to be almost 100 years old, so I want to do that. As long as the hot guy's driving me around.
Couldn't quite hear when you were talking about your kids, if you already answered this, because we can't quite hear here, but
Sorry.
are they yet at the age when you can really annoy them? And you're just like, Mom, stop with the voices.
They were at that age when they were born. My 13-year-old did voice acting until recently, so the mystery he didn't really care about it that much. Sometimes he would go, don't tell my friends anything, about your voices, it's so weird, and then, because I would embarrass him at school when I'd pick him up, I go, hey, Tex, get in the car, I'm here to pick you up, just like weird stuff like that. And he was like, oh my God. But then later on, his friends started thinking it was kind of cool. So actually, recently, he's like, Mom, so and so really liked you, or they couldn't believe you were, because I play Katana on the new Mortal Kombat stuff. So they like that, and so I was doing that, and so now I think he thinks it's cool, and he uses it to impress his friends. But my little ones, there's a show called the Three Caballeros that's on Disney Plus right now, and also I play Wonder Woman on DC Superhero Girls, the new one. I played the old one too, but this other
other one, she talks like this, and she's got a little bit of, I did a little tiny bit of an Israeli accent like Gal Gadot. And so I do that for my kids, and my daughter's like, shh, mommy! You know, because if I see it on, I'm just like, I start going, oh, we must vanquish that villain! You know, and they're like, Mom, go away! So it does bother them.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
First, I have small children, so I watched the show Whoopsie.
Yes, wow, everybody,
Thank
welcome
you
to
so
Voiceover.
much. Thank you so much, that's great. And my question is, do you, what kind of special techniques do you have to do to keep your voice since you do so many? Is there any like home remedies that you have to take, like special teas or something like that to keep your voice going for all the work that you have to do?
I have like a very sturdy voice, thank God. I don't know, some friends of mine are like, oh, when I do video games, I'm like, I can't work for a week, and which is terrible, but I scream and die and do monsters and everything, and for some reason, it doesn't affect me that much. Because I think I have a theater background, so I kind of learned how to breathe with my diaphragm, but I once, there was a horror movie I went to see, and because I wasn't prepared to scream and I wasn't screaming like thinking about it, I totally messed up my voice. I couldn't work the next day because I wasn't doing with my diaphragm. It was just all like here, like you know, and I was like clenching up my throat, and like it really messed me up. It was called What Lies Beneath. Does anybody remember that movie? It was really yes.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh my God! Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer, Harrison Ford was very good, but I could not work for a day because I wasn't prepared. I wasn't screaming right in the correct way, you know. But if I ever have a problem, like sometimes I do get a little tiny bit hoarse. No, and when I do these conventions a lot of times, because I do the voices for people, because people don't know my face, you know, so I have to do the voices. I'm not Matthew Lillard. So I do sometimes at the end of the day, but I have these arnica tablets, and it has, those really help me. I just suck on them, I put them under my tongue and suck on them, and it seems to help. And tea, I guess, like, you know, lemon water. Yeah, thank you. Hi.
Your work, and I was wondering if you expected the Scooby Natural episode to be as big and well received as it was.
Well, as soon as I did it, I was like, okay, so that's the show the hot dad is on. I'm gonna Google that. And then I told Matt, I was like, oh my God, Supernatural is like this, is a phenomenon. And I was like, they do conventions and stuff. I bet we might get invited to one of those conventions. I was really, and here I am. I want to do more of these. This is so fun. Also, it's so well run and it's just like well organized. You guys are also nice. It's a different fan base. They have a really cool fan base. I love it. So I did have a suspicion that it would be this big. Yeah, I did. And everybody loves Supernatural and everybody loves Scooby-Doo. So two great tastes that go great together. Yeah. But nobody else thought. I feel like I called it. I was like, we're going to be doing we could probably do conventions from this. Anyway. Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Actually, I think it's afternoon, sorry.
Oh, it's all right. Oh, it's morning to me. I stayed out too late at the slot machine that night, and I lost $300.
I was not familiar with your work, so I apologize for that. So I went to IMBD, and I started looking at what you had done, and scrolling, and scrolling, and scrolling.
It's like when I find my age on a website, I'm like, keep scrolling. 1973.
So my question is there anything that you haven't done that you would like to do? What's your dream job?
Well, I really loved Snow White. That's my favorite Disney movie. And I got really close on playing the new Snow, being the voice match for Snow White. I didn't get it, but I still do the voice for my kids. And so my son was like, Mom, you didn't get it, let it go. But sometimes I'm like,
let me see your hands. Oh, what sweet little men you are. I'm wishing for the one I love to find me today.
Yeah, so maybe someday. I'm gonna keep trying. When I'm 80, they'll cast me. Anybody else? Oh, we're all done over there. Are we all good? Yay! Well, you guys, am I allowed to, or should I stay up? Am I allowed, are we done? I can't see.
You got like 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. I was raised by my little Mexican grandma, and well, I'm just gonna say that I have to start in order because I was like, I hope I look all right. I just tried Spanx for the first time. I mean, not the underwear, but just where you're like, stop eating. Oh gosh, I haven't I've been writing all my new materials, so I'm trying to go back to my old joke. Well, gosh, let me see. Well, I'm a single mom with 3 kids, and my oldest is the most messed up because he's been around me the longest. But you know how he's really dumb. I don't know what I'm gonna do with him. He's so dumb. Like I just bought him one of those race car beds just to kind of like prepare him for the future when he has to sleep in his car. He asked me to marry him the other day. It was so sad, you know. It's just like I had to explain to him. I was like, "Oh my God, honey, that's never gonna happen. You're never ever gonna be able to marry mommy. You're never gonna make enough money." Oh gosh, I was like, and then so I was like, you know, some people parent. I mean, some people like dance like no one's watching, and I parent like no one's watching. You know. I take my kids to the park a lot because it's easy to pretend like you're a good mom. You know, if you just look up from your phone every 20 minutes and just go like,
Careful, buddy.
and, you know, like sometimes I get so bored at the park I have to play games with myself where I'm just like, sometimes I have a game where I just call out,
Brayden!
just to see how many white kids with boring parents turn around. I hope nobody here is named Brayden. Not because I'm afraid of offending you, but just because it's a shit name. And I really hope nobody here is named Brayden. No, but I was raised by my little Mexican grandma, and she, you know, she had parenting rules, but they were more like, you know, they were like fashion rules. You know, she would be like, you gotta wear some makeup and push yourself up and put lipstick on and high heels, and who's gonna want you? I was 7. I think I've been, you know, my grandma used to say, live every day like it's your last, and I think that's why I'm so depressed all the time. I've been cutting myself. I mean, not like anything serious, just like my bangs and stuff, but I've been drinking a little bit too much. I took my kids to Disneyland the other day, and my daughter saw Captain Hook, and she was like, Mommy, look, it's Captain Morgan! Anyway, that's just a sampling. Go on Amazon, and you can download it for free on Amazon Prime. It's called My First Comedy Special. Thanks so much, you guys. This was awesome. Thank you. Come to my table. It's a wireless mic. Sorry. Bye.
Maybe she knows. She's gonna be like, oh.